Ka me ha me.
Hi. Hello, friends and enemies, and welcome back to Card Game Review. It's been a while. If you've been alive anytime since the 80s, you most likely have heard of Dragon Ball in some way. And with a lot of popular anime, with every Dragon Ball series comes a Dragon Ball card game. Now, I have actually played the Dragon Ball Z card game before with an old friend of mine, but I decided that it would be more interesting to talk about the current Dragon Ball card game related to Dragon Ball Super. Now, Dragon Ball Super is a card game that I tried to get into mainly because I liked the Dragon Ball Z card game back when I played it, and I have a interest in Dragon Ball that started budding around the time that I turned 20. I know, I'm late to the series. So I got the Dragon Ball Super card game, and I've been wanting to make this specific card game review for months. It was supposed to come out a few months ago, and then I chickened out and I instead created the Kaijudo card game review. And then I wanted to do it the next cycle, and then I chickened out and I did D-Spirits. And then I just kind of kept chickening out from there on out. After the last review, I decided to take a little bit of a break just to make sure that I'm working out my focus on how I'm doing videos. And coming back to the card game review, I think it's finally time for me to put my differences with the Dragon Ball Super card game to an end. And by differences, I mean that I don't really click with the card game. It's not really something that I jazz with all that much. That's not to say that it's necessarily a bad card game, but I buy a lot of card games, and sometimes I just don't get attached to some of them like I do with others. Definitely some of the ones that I don't get attached to I still keep because they hold a value of nostalgia to me that I really like, so I guess in that way I've connected with them, but with quite a few of them, I don't feel that same connection. I don't feel the desire to really play the game. I don't really have anybody to play the game with, and even if I did, I feel like I probably wouldn't be asking these people to play this game with me. Anyway, that's enough of rambling, so let's go on and talk about the Dragon Ball Super card game. Now, in the Dragon Ball Super card game, you're going to be running a deck of about 40 to 60 cards with one leader card. Your leader card is going to be the example of the character that you are playing as. It's the metaphysical representation of you, the Dragon Ball character. Does that make sense? Now, as for your actual deck, there are going to be two main cards that build up the deck. There's going to be your battle cards and your extra cards. There are also unison cards and field cards, but we're only going to be talking about the biggest parts of your deck today. Each of these cards has a card cost to them, which is the amount of energy that you need to spend in order to play the card. Extra cards will help you out in a bunch of different ways, but for battle cards, there are a couple different parts that we have to look at. Down in the bottom left-hand corner of the card is the power of the card. This is how much power you're going to be paying attention to when you're attacking your opponent's leader. On the left-hand side of the card, above the power but below the card cost, you'll see a combo power indicator. This is how much power that this card will deal if you combo it with an attack that you're already doing. Right below that number is the combo cost. This is how much it costs to actually play that combo. And there we have the most basic breakdown of the cards. So let's go ahead and slide on over to the gameplay. Alright, so here we have a field setup, and I do not have the Dragon Ball Super playmat, but I will go ahead and show you where everything is. Here we have the deck zone. This is where your deck's going to go, and below it we have the drop zone, where all of your cards are going to go when they're discarded or once they're done resolving. Up over here we have the leader zone. This is where your leader card will go. Next to your leader zone, we have the battle zone, where battle cards will go. Below that, we have the combo zone, where you'll be putting your cards that you're going to be comboing with. Below that, we have your energy area, where your energy will be going. And then over here on the side, we have your life area, where you will be putting your life cards. To begin the game, after deciding which player goes first, you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna draw 6 cards from the top of your deck. Once we have our 6 cards, we can go ahead and take any number of them from our hand and go ahead and put them back into the deck. And after we've shuffled the deck, we can go ahead and draw the same amount of cards and put them into our hand. After this step, we take the top 8 cards of our deck and we put it right into our life area. And now we're ready to start the game. When you start your turn, unless you're the first player, you go ahead and draw a card. Next, we choose a card from our hand to put into our energy zone in the active position, meaning upright. We're going to go ahead and put it upside down to indicate that it is being used as energy. If we have enough energy to play a battle card, we can go ahead and rest our energy to play a battle card of the energy cost. After we've decided what we do in our main phase, we can go ahead and move on to our battle phase. During our battle phase, we can choose to attack with our leader and/or any cards in our battle area. We can attack our opponent's leader or any battle cards that our opponent has. If our opponent has a unison card in rest mode, we can choose to attack that card as well. If we have the correct amount of active energy to play a combo card while we're attacking, we can place a combo card from our hand into our combo area to boost our attack. It's important to note that when a card is placed onto the field, it does not have the ability to attack until the next turn. You can also not attack if you were the player that went first for your turn in the game. During the attack step, our opponent can choose to block with any cards that they may have that they can block with. Or, if they have an event card that could counter, they can choose to do that as well. During the battle phase, the card with the highest power will win over the card with the lowest power. During battle, if your leader gets attacked successfully, you take 1 damage to your life. If a battle card of yours gets attacked and successfully destroyed, that battle card gets KO'd and put into the drop area. Once the battle step is over, you can proceed to the end phase. At the start of our next turn, we're going to activate any of our rested cards, and then start the turn over again. You win when your opponent hits 0 life or runs out of cards in their deck. And there you have it. Dragon Ball. Overall, I think the structure of the game worked kind of similarly to games like Kaijudo and Duel Masters. At least that's what it feels like when I play the game. I feel like it's really easy to see the inspirations that Dragon Ball Super takes from other card games. But how do I feel about the card game? For accessibility, I would say this card game is pretty accessible. There are 2 types of decks that you can get. There are starter decks and there are expert decks. Starter decks generally run from around $10 to $12, where expert decks generally run around $15 to $16, making them kind of cheap. Not as cheap as Yu-Gi-Oh decks, but way cheaper than some other decks that are out there. I'm looking at you, MetaZoo. As for card packs, their regular card pack price for current games about $4.12 per pack. Is this game fun? I feel like that's really more for the audience to decide. I don't think that I can make a fair judgment on how fun this game is. I definitely like how many characters are included in the Dragon Ball Super card pool. I mean, oh my gosh, they have all my favorite characters. They have Gogeta, which is a character that I never thought I would see from Dragon Ball Super. Then again, I'm not caught up with the Super anime lore, so maybe I'm not one to talk about that. But it definitely seems like if you're a fan of Dragon Ball, you can get most of your favorite characters here. Now, I shall say that if you're buying singles, some of the cards for this game are really expensive. Android 21, last time I checked, which admittedly was a while ago, was like a $31 card for a specific version of her. Same thing with certain Goku cards. I think Goku Ultra Instinct is like $40. The Gogeta card that I really wanted to get was $15 when I looked it up last. But if you have the will and the way, you can make a deck out of your favorite characters, as long as it doesn't break game rule. That being said, the Dragon Ball Super card game seems to have a really big community as far as I've seen. There are quite a few people that are very passionate about this card game, and I get a lot of people talking about it a lot of the time. Then again, I guess it's to be expected from Dragon Ball, you know. Overall, I don't think there's really much that I can say about this game, and I think that I would rate it about a 6 out of 10. I personally don't think it's too remarkable, but the community that surrounds it has a very large enthusiasm about it, and I love the way that they treat the game that they obviously love. But how do you feel about the Dragon Ball card game? And admittedly, everything that I've shown you here today is just the basics given to me from the rulebook, but how does it look even then? Does it look appealing to you, or do you think you might need to see a little bit more? If you do, I'll post a link down below of some dudes that really have fun with the game. They really have fun with it. But I've drained all my power for this video, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and until next time, drink your water.